What's going on, everybody? Josh or Miho here. I hope everybody's doing good and well and stuff. I got an album review to do for you, and I'm going to show it to you right now. This is the new album from the band Scorned Deity entitled Adventum. This is self-released. Now, if you're not too familiar with this band, they're based out of Detroit, Michigan, and the best way to describe the sound of this band would be a very symphonic, blackened style of melodic death metal. This is a band that definitely has a flair for being cinematic and over the top. Very much songwriting, lyric-wise, and overall total package. That's the kind of style that Scorned Deity do. Um, I first heard about this band by way of their singer. He contacted me, basically told me about who he was, what his band was about, and wanted me to listen to this band's latest release. And in doing so, not only did I listen to this band's latest release, I also got introduced to his band's previous effort, the Monarchy Memoirs. I believe that came out in 2011. And I thought that debut was pretty impressive. I really dug what approach and style this band had to offer with that debut, and it was something very unique. Some really good ideas moving forward from this band, and it only led me to this newer release. I listened to it through their Bandcamp page, and from then on there, I got a copy. So thank you, Brian, for making that possible. And here we are with their second full-length entitled Adventum. It's 11 tracks, and it clocks in at around 45 minutes in length. And I like the way this album starts off, and it sets the mood off very nicely with the opening title track. Once you get past the opening title track, you get to what this band is really all about. Really epic, bombastic compositions, but yet this is what I feel they excel at. And they deliver some very impressive music. If you happen to be into stuff like, let's say, maybe Soilwork or modern day hypocrisy with just a little addition of over-the-top symphonics, I want to say this also reminds me of another band that came out earlier in 2012 called Xanthocroid. They play a style of black metal that's very symphonic and over the top. And I feel that this could be melodic death metal's answer to that. An over-the-top kind of melodic death metal style. But I think this band makes it work, and I think it's beyond entertaining here. The one thing I can get started with talking about this record is the fact that it's very guitar-driven. This is a very guitar-driven type of an album. I really dig this band's approach and style when it comes to the guitar riffs. There's some really good solid riffs on here, very nice solid melodies. I want to say on tracks like From a Lion of God, I really enjoy the way the songwriting is on that track. I really like the riffs. And I should also mention the solo work on here is done very nicely. The bass on here is pretty good too, although what I said previously, I believe this album is very guitar-driven. You hear the guitar a lot more than you would do the bass, but I wouldn't hold that against this album or the way that it's played. I think when you do get to the bass moments of this record, I think it's pretty damn solid. But overall, it's a guitar-driven record, and I can totally understand what approach is being done with this album. Drum-wise, the drums are a little bit on the spastic side, in my opinion, and I'm not saying that in any ill regard or anything like that. Going back to this band's epic songwriting approach, the drum work on here is very, very emphasized on fills, blast beats, and double bass. The way everything happens to be syncopated and patterned, I think it's pretty good. It's a little crazy and hectic at times, but yet still, I think the drums are very entertaining here, and I appreciate what this drummer is setting out to do. Very good, solid stuff here. And going back to what I said earlier about this band being symphonic, the inclusion of keyboards on this album definitely bring out this band's epic cinematic side, and it's evidented on this throughout the entire record, even to the short little interludes that appear on this album. The symphonics on here are pretty well executed here, I must say. And now to the vocals. I like this vocalist style. It's very rugged, rough, but yet it's understandable. he has a very wide variety of vocal styles. It can be very high pitched and pretty much to the point where he screams, or to whether he's doing his mid-range kind of guttural voice. You can understand everything he says, and the way he delivers his words and lyrics are done very nicely here. I really enjoy the lyrical aspects of this album. Very nice, almost an occult type of vibe to it, almost science fiction inspired in some ways, horror inspired in some ways, excuse me. But I dig the way the lyrics are on this record, and the inclusion of opera vocals on here are pretty nice too. You hear them on the opening title track, and there are some instances where you hear the opera vocals on one other track, or maybe two other tracks. I want to say maybe Fantastic. I could be wrong, but I hear the way the opera vocals are executed on this album, I think, is pretty unique and something different. I will say that upon the first listen, I was a little bit exhausted because it's a lot to take in. But once you let it get settled in with you, you'll find something nice to enjoy here if you're a fan of melodic death metal, traditional mellow death, so to speak. So overall, this is a really solid sophomore effort. I really enjoy what this band sets out to do. I know there's a lot more potential than what's being shown here, so I'm looking forward to seeing what this band's future is all about. So if you're a fan of current melodic death metal or old school mellow death, Scorned Deity are a band to check out. So if I had to pick any tracks that I enjoyed off this album, I would definitely have to say The Hand of Will, From a Lion of Gold, A Screever in Our Midst, Fantastic, and Slola Maka. What I'm going to do is I'm going to leave you some links in the description box to this band's Bandcamp page where you can stream this album and hear it for yourself, buy it digitally if that's your thing. Also to their web store where you can buy this album directly from them. They also have their first album plus some really cool shirt designs. So again, I'm going to show you the album. This is Adventum by Scorned Deity. This is self-released. Check this band out, and I'm going to give this a solid 8 out of 10. Pretty impressive stuff, and I'm looking forward to seeing what the future holds for this band. So check out Scorned Deity. I'm going to conclude this review. Thanks all for watching. Thanks for checking out my channel, and until the next time, Armijo out.